Hey everybody, welcome. We are just about to go live with Dr. Tom Giammatteo. Excuse me, one of my all-time favorite teachers and co-developer of integrative manual therapy. Let me go ahead and put this in our sessions here. Okay, we'll put it there too. Okay, and I'm going to share this so that you get it in your email. So if you're on my list, my email list, you can be alerted to these whenever you like. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment for me or Dr. Tom Giammatteo whenever you like. So it's up on your email now, or it should be. Technology is working a little slow today for some reason. So you might not have got the email yet, but it should be there any second. And if you subscribe to the YouTube, then you're going to get it like that too. There we go. I think it's all the way around doing it. Okay. Let's just see if it works. And it doesn't look like it's working there. Let me do one more thing just to make sure, because I know people look for these and then sometimes the technology kind of makes things a little glitchy. So it appears there's something like that going on. So hang on just a second. Let me make sure we're good. There's a, yep, there we are. Okay, we are good. Great. Okay, so we're waiting for Dr. Tom Giammatteo. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave a comment and let us know where you're from and what's going on. And if you have any questions about anything related to health or healing or being a therapist, a healer, a teacher, a coach, getting your work out to the world, or whatever else you do in the world, let us know. And because today's session, usually I get a big, energetic, intuitive hit or download. I wouldn't call it a hit, but like a message that says this is what the show is about. Because Dr. Tom has so much information and we could go anywhere. And I know at the drop of a hat, he could go anywhere. So I don't have to worry about giving him advanced notice. But this morning I was just sitting there in my meditation and everything and wondering, I wonder what the show's about. One of the things that's interesting is I put a post out recently that I then had to go back on because somebody wanted to do a certain project with me, and I decided, it's not part of my thing, And so I had to let that go, and I had to tell everybody on Facebook and YouTube that, we're not going to be doing this thing, which had a lot to do with how to make money so you could do what you want to do in the world. But I thought that's not really my thing, even though clients get all sorts of abundance. And a lot of times it's money that comes in really unexpected ways and lining up with their purpose and their path and job opportunities and business opportunities and just gifts coming in and all sorts of grants. And so I've seen that over the years, but it's not like I say, oh, come see me for that. My thing is to help people get healthy enough. And like the late Sharon Giammatteo would say, get healthy enough to take your own surfboard and get on your own wave. And I did a YouTube about that, or a Facebook Live. It might be on YouTube already about that today. And that's the thing. And it's always been my thing to help people with their healing. And so I'd love to hear what your thing is. And I'm going to be asking Tom, because it's obviously his thing. He's been to medical schools like over and over again. He was a physical therapist first, then a chiropractor, then a naturopath. Along the way, he got a PhD, acupuncture training certificate degree. And so he has studied a lot of stuff, and then he co-developed integrative manual therapy. So he's obviously, that's his thing too. And so I'm going to see where it goes, where he wants to go with this. They used to have I believe about 14 clinics around the world, Hong Kong and Israel, a couple of clinics in Israel, Canada, Toronto, all over the United States, San Francisco, LA, and there was clinics like mine in San Diego, Mission Hills Physical Therapy, and my friend Joe's and other people's that, my friend Kathy, different people that had their own private clinics, but we were kind of like satellite clinics of theirs too, and that they would, we would communicate back and forth about clients. So it was a big learning, amazing time. We felt like we were changing the world, and there'd be people from all over the world, and we'd see each other in Toronto, and then we'd see each other in Connecticut, and then we'd see each other in New Mexico, and then in San Francisco, and then Los Angeles, and just like we just kind of traveled around as a big group, and it was to learn how to help people heal from really chronic stuff. And those were really cool days. Those were really cool days because you could always, if you wanted to, go work for Sharon and Tom somewhere in the world and travel. There was people that's how they lived. They went to Hong Kong for a week or two, and when Sharon was there, and they went over to Connecticut when Sharon was there, and then they flew over to San Francisco when Sharon was there, and then they worked in Connecticut full time besides that, and they kind of had a job of traveling around and following Sharon, and we don't have that anymore. And Sharon used to say, you know, I don't want to be a guru in the form of like, I don't want to make copies of myself. The thing is to get on your own surfboard and find your own wave. And she left really early. Like, I don't know why she had to leave so soon, you know, not that 60 something years old, but so that's a whole nother story. But I think she might've been like letting us all know it's time for us to do it our way, our thing. And I've definitely gone my way, and Tom's taken IMT to a whole new level. So so today we'll talk to him about that and whatever else he wants to talk about. And yeah, if you are watching, I know most people watch later, but feel free to leave a comment. I will put our link here for resources, because we have a lot of resources for free. There we go, it's in the comments. And we'll hang out for Tom, and there he is. I think we're good. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Ralph.
How's it going?
Good.
Good,
Let me
good.
just get my camera moving here and think we're all set.
Cool. I was telling everybody about back in the day, how I don't know how many clinics you guys had. I think it was around 14 or something, but
Yeah, 16 actually. Yeah.
16?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Hong Kong and Israel and Toronto and all over the US, and how we had a group of us that just traveled around. I never made it to Hong Kong or Israel, but definitely made it to Toronto and everywhere in the US, following around, and you'd see the same people over and over again, all of our team to go change the world. And I thought, you know, for some reason that's been my thing to learn healing. I remember when I was a little kid, I would ask people about their injuries as if I knew what the answers meant. Like I would say, well, does it bother you when you sleep? Does it bother you like this? Is it always constant? I would ask these questions, but I didn't know what the answers meant. So I was always kind of in that mode. And then you, obviously, I was telling everybody all the different degrees you have going through that. And then we had a whole group. And then and Sharon used to tell us, you know, her job was to get people healthy enough to get on their own surfboard, to take their own wave, and didn't want to be like just to make a bunch of clones of her. And you know, for some reason she left way earlier than any of us wanted her to leave, but she kind of put us all on our own paths.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought maybe you whatever you would want to talk about, like is the next level of IMT, how, you know, back then it was like we were always waiting for the next class, like, man, I need the bone bruise technique, or I need to have cardiac 2, or I need the gluten class, or I need a class on how to help people with autism. I don't have that one yet. And we were always waiting for the next plug-in of a class, and you could literally spend hundreds of hours just going through every technique in any one class on somebody. You wouldn't have to do that to help them get well, but yeah, anything you want to talk about the past, about
Ralph, a quick question. Is my camera on for you?
No, I don't see the camera. Let's see. I don't see.
Am I?
Whoop. Here. Oh, sorry. I just muted you by accident. So you gotta let me
Yeah.
you're muted. Okay.
You want to give me, am I a presenter position yet? Or
Oh, maybe I didn't do that. Hang on. Promote to panelists. That's what it is. It's so funny. I thought everybody should be able to be on. Jen is going out. I got a little bit of story. Jen was going out to get our water. We get water from our friends out by the mountain, and they have a well. But it's warm right now, and there was a little algae, and my belly was hurting and hurting and hurting. So I actually took a GI Regen just now. I'll let you know how it's going.
good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So, the Connecticut School of Integrated Manual Therapy has been around since 2001 and we graduated our first class in 2005. We're sanctioned and licensed all the way up for the next 3 years, I believe. And every 3 years we have to do the renewal with the state. So a medical board comes in and reviews our technology and the tools that we have. And the state comes in and makes sure that we're compliant with educational abilities in the state. So we can take somebody out of high school and actually give them a career in integrated manual therapy. So people ask, well, is it licensed? It's an unlicensed profession, but by the state education, it's an occupation. So there are not too many degrees that are licensed. And to get into licensure, you need a bigger population of people doing it. So we have had, we used to track people around and have all these new technologies. I feel have 10 new items at least that the old guard would love to know about. And I just haven't found the energy and time to really start to touch other people's lives. In the last, Sharon passed away 5 years ago. So,
I'm sorry about that. That was crazy times. Uh-oh, I don't hear you. Oh, we lost Tom. He will be back. He'll be back. Let me go and invite him. It's interesting. Right when we lost Tom, we lost Sharon. Invite. Huh. I told you technology is acting a little funny. Here we go. Let's invite Tom again. Oh, there he is. Okay.
sorry about that, Ralph.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, it was interesting. Right as we lost Sharon, we lost you for a second.
So over the last 5 years of her passing, I rebuilt the school, and a lot of people had an idea that Sharon was the creator of most of the information. It was always a team application from 1996 on, and she just had really better typing skills than I did, and so she would be able to type 10 to 20 pages an hour.
I heard she was up at night a lot, just getting all that down.
Yeah, and also, when I met Sharon, she had 3 courses: one in myofascial release, one in biomechanics called strain muscle energy, and a strain counter strain class. And when we got married and together, all those other pieces of information that we learned about, from the bone bruise to the disruption of membrane to how we use nutrition, all came because of the collaboration of us together.
Wow. And I mean, I took 110 classes from 2000 to 2010. How many classes? Do you know the number of classes?
So it's probably up to about 140 or 150 classes. And, as we started it was always like a pyramid. So as we were more more students were learning, they were sending in their tougher cases. So we were able to go deeper and deeper to answer those problems that we never discovered before. So we were able to break them up into different sections, like all the neuroanatomy. You know, we started off with craniosacral, but then we were even going into a vision course, a hearing course, and then even going and working on the spinal tracts to help spinal cord recovery. And at the end, we were, and what the technology is that we can actually turn on little nuclei in the brain and stimulate the neurotransmitters back and forth. And that was just the accumulation of knowledge that when, you know, Sharon was in the physical therapy and the osteopathic worlds, and I brought in the functional medicine and the physician world of things. And from there, we were saying that, and this is what I really feel, is that integrated manual therapy is the structural form of helping medicine get better. So when somebody says I have, you know, the doctor gave me the disease process of high blood pressure, or the doctor gave me diabetes, traditional medicine goes in and gives you a chemical to reduce the symptoms. And where integrative manual therapy comes from is for the example of diabetes is, okay, there's something wrong with the cells receiving the sugar, and the sugar's hanging out too long in the bloodstream, and it's causing damage. So in traditional medicine, they give you insulins, or they give you metformin to help that physiology process. But nobody's ever gone back and said, well, who makes the insulin? Well, that's the pancreas. And is the pancreas happy where it's living? And can we change the structure of the pancreas and make it happy again? And when we do that, and chiropractic, osteopathic, and acupuncture have done that, but the medical groups have not wanted to acknowledge that they can reverse those pieces. And a lot of people have been just educated, okay, I'm now 40, you know, and my mother had diabetes, so now I'm going to have diabetes. And so medicine has chemicals that address the symptoms, but they never say, well, where did that really come from? And after 3 or 4 or 5 years of being on that medication, then you have some complications because of that, and now you get your next pill. Back in like 2014, the average of the amount of medications from the pharmaceutical company per person were 6 per person in the United States.
Wow.
So 330 million people, everybody had an average of taking 6 pharmaceuticals a day. And I know you don't take medications, and I don't take medications. So I know in your physical therapy business, you used to go in, and the older people would be on 5, then 6, then 7, then 8 medications. So that's still their goal, and that's still their implement of we can make money off this. And instead of curative health, they go and just put palliative health.
Yeah, and that's an interesting topic, because money is such an interesting thing. Like I know with my practice, there was a few cycles where I gave up the traditional physical therapy and went straight for visceral manipulation and craniosacral, and my practice went down, and then it went back up again. And then I gave some of those things up for the most part and went integrative manual therapy, and it went down and then it went up. And because it's like, well, but people are getting better with this stuff. And so there's that thing like how it's tied to money sometimes. And I was watching The High Wire with Del Bigtree this last week, and there's another whistleblower from the CDC that wasn't able to do research, and we're talking about all the falsification of research. And my friend who works for a pharmaceutical company says that he talks about how much is just pure fraud, and he still works there though. And so Del Bigtree asked this whistleblower, the CDC, are scientists just all evil? Do they all just not know this, or what's going on? Like, why are you the only one of the rare whistleblowers? And why are these things happening where there's falsification of data and in the scientific and the medical world? And she kind of sat there for a bit, and then she kind of had a sheepish little grin, and she goes, "It's the money." She says, you know, they wouldn't have their grants, and they wouldn't have their positions, and it's hard to give up what you've trained your whole life for, and so it's the money. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, to you and me, it's like blows our mind because you definitely could have made more money a different way. So there's a lot of people I think on these calls because I sent out a post recently and it had to do with money and it had the most comments on Facebook and YouTube and I'm like, wow, this is a big issue for people. And we seem to have a lot of healers and teachers and coaches that they have the big hearts and they're definitely not doing it just for the money. There's easier ways to make money. And so we have a big group that are looking for the next level, and that's what drew me to IMT. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah. So integrated manual therapy has always been seeking. And so I feel that, some people along the journey have thought they had the complete picture, but it's always still dynamic and changing. So the things that were taking hours and hours before are taking less the time because we've kept doing research, we kept advancing the technology. I've met some people that just took one class and they felt they got the whole picture and they're very satisfied with their needs. And then other people that said, I need more and understand those pieces. So, today's IMT practice in my office is, I think you'd be astounded because you really haven't seen that in about 3 or 4 years.
And Jen tells me I got to get you over there to train with Tom again. So
Yeah.
working.
So we're working on all levels, and I feel that the Connecticut school puts out the next future holistic practitioner that can do the herbs, that can do the body work together. That really hasn't been met. And to this day, people, some chiropractors give herbs, some naturopaths touch the body, but there hasn't been a group that says they were equal or just as powerful when you use them and figure out where the body needs to be touched in the right way.
Yeah, that's a good, that's all so good because we used to, for one, study many hours with you guys. And then for another, clients would come for hours and hours and hours. And even though 1 hour could be really big for somebody transformative, it's like many people came for 20 hours, even in a week sometimes, and had big changes, but it's getting faster now.
Yeah. So the speed is there and we still take in clients and, I would say most regular ailments of, something simple, like somebody sprained their ankle, it's maybe 4 visits that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But other people are doing like my blood pressure is going crazy and I don't want to take the medications to doc. So it's like, okay, how do we rewind 10 years that was actually the cause of the problem? It gets you there. But everybody's sat, I have clients come in and we explain the process and we have about a 70%, people saying, okay, I'll give it a try. And those, I feel that 95% are very satisfied with their end outcome.
Yeah. And that's why so many of us hung out with you guys for so many years continuously.
Yeah. So as if we really reflect back on the last, starting at 2012, 2013, we've been changing a lot of, just think of who you were in 2012 and 2013 and look at your economical status there. And now look at your economical status here. And there really hasn't been a space just to go, okay, I'm going to join that and go fast on that track. Healing arts and everything else. We used to have time and money before to go study, and it just doesn't seem like the universe in my world has put it out there. So I feel that the school has been sustainable and logically here, and it's ready, it's like the fields of dreams. If you build it, it will come. So I feel we have a super strong foundation now. We have everything ready. I'm just waiting to, with your connection, it's been awesome, but we're waiting to try to explore that. But right now with COVID and everything else, it just seems, all universities, all conventional education is like shattering below us.
Yeah. And I love Ryan Holiday, an author. I love Ryan Holiday. He said, don't waste this disaster. So this disastrous time, there's something brewing, you know? There's something brewing. It'll drive us to the next level of whatever cool stuff is here to come through all of us. That's cool. So you have a winter school and a summer school, right?
Yep. And this year for summer, usually we have a theme. And, you know, since Sharon's passing, Ralph, I actually have written maybe 6,000 to 7,000 pages of notes. The winter school was 950 pages by itself.
Wow. That was on autoimmune or something, I think?
The last one was on neuroendocrine system.
They're kind of like autoimmune.
Um, diabetes, hormone problems, and things like that. So I have taken units. So we have 8 or 9 units. We've rewritten all the cardiovascular system to be updated. We've written all the GI system to be updated. We've went through concussion and added new things to it. We went through and everything that you were seeking before. And there's a new level of biomechanics called Helix Biomechanics, and they put the old mobility templates to shame. Of that we can engage the body with just 3 fingers and the joints open up amazingly.
I got to get to Connecticut, man. So, so yeah, so there's
or we'll just have a study group out near you where you are. So we have about having a class that we can get together and teach our stuff.
Well,
maybe
cool.
COVID.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to have it in Idaho where it's open. It's beautiful over there, I hear. We're going to go visit Idaho the first week of August. Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, which are, I hear, very, very pretty. I had a client that lives there. And,
Good.
So we'll see. Wow.
Yeah.
So well, we're working on it. And we got an opt-in page that I just made so that people can go to your Zoom calls. Because right now, therapists and anyone that's interested in doing therapy, even if it's for your child or that sort of thing, they can go to your Zoom classes so far, right?
Yeah, they can listen. Well, it's a group of concerned clients and therapists that are really listening and just trying to get through these crazy times and using practical skills. And we share a lot of different things, and we have all across the nation, and sometimes Italy and South Africa and Asia coming in and giving us world reports from them of how they.
Is that one guy? I think his name was Alberto or Al.
Yeah, Alberto is still in Italy, and he comes and he supports the Zoom meetings once in a while. He shows up, but we're still coming.
I'll have to get on there. So that's cool. So yeah, and info at imtwellnesscenter.com to get on Tom's list. And you can find me, ralphhavens.com/true healing, and just click on any of the free resources, and you can connect with me. And I made a page so you can always know when Tom's on his Zoom calls. So yeah, so it sounds like we get a group, like 20 people or so, and and worth a class somewhere.
Yeah, and we plant the seeds again.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool? Okay, let me check into it. Let's see another level. Yeah, because it's like we're thinking. I remember when I first met you guys, February of 2000, and as soon as I met you and started working with you guys that weekend, I don't remember what day it was, the first, second, or third day. I just told Sharon, can we bring you guys to my clinic? And so instantly, in a second, we decided 4 or 5 times a year for the next 10 years. And it seems to be how I do things. Like I was thinking about stuff, and it doesn't take me long to go, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I do offer the service that I have some senior students that actually, if we can cover cost of making sure that I can pay my rent in my own office and things like that, I have gone out and I've sat in
a clinic.
In clinics and given tutorials and their individual cases and everything like that. So.
Oh, that's cool. So like a consult for people's clients. Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of everybody trying to travel here, sometimes when you get 3 or 4 people together, then we can come out and we can do an educational seminar. And
educational
people
and
do help, their health gets better and their wellness gets better.
yeah.
The difficulty and the gray line is, you know, this is a reversal of structure and people get better, and it's not in the medical model. So, you know, we don't want to touch on the words disease and processes
Yeah.
like that. So,
We're helping people, helping people's bodies get healthier.
yeah.
And they're the ones that
So
do it.
some doctors and therapists come in and they would do a little tutorial and they bring their case studies up and I help talk about them in a semi-generic, but it's really focused on that client. And then that practitioner can choose what's medically necessary because they have the license in that state. I don't have a, you know, I need,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
And so that brings,
it's in an educational format. It's very easy to,
yeah.
you know, talk about things. And, but we, you know, the medicine gets mad when you start to come across the borders without permission and things like
Yeah,
that.
and so and that brings up an interesting idea that I'm thinking of is somebody without any prior training, or maybe they do have Reiki or massage therapy, something that's either licensed or not licensed, and they start doing IMT. Can they just pop a shingle up and say, "Hey, I'm open for business," or especially if it involves touching people
Well,
or
that's another state regulation again, right?
by state?
Some states are in their state law says you have to have a license to touch. And in other states, even people with degrees in healing, like a doctor or a physical therapist, and they say, well, this isn't quite like I can, you know, build the insurance company for. They can hang a time and say, I'm, you know, and their clients basically sign a waiver saying, I know this is for wellness care. I'm having this for improving my health, and I know that I can't bill the insurance company. When you don't, as long as you don't falsify yourself as another field of medicine, and you use the word disease and cure, then if you're doing it in a wellness practice, those are very easy to get around, you know, for different pieces of people.
Yeah,
So
like getting a
we
little.
have had accountants, we've had lawyers come in and they go out and they have practices in IMT, you know, in certain states, and Connecticut happens to be one of those open states. And but some do need to say, like the state of New York is very strict, and they say anytime you touch somebody, you have to have a license to do something like that.
Yeah, we should check and see what Washington State or check your own state. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds cool. So, yeah, and I know when we were going through, there were so many. I can think of one woman from Portland who helped her kids who had autistic thing diagnosis, but she
So
helped her
yeah,
kids learning this and becoming a practitioner.
right. So a lot of parents with children of special needs will tell them, why don't you come and take the 3-day course on that piece of topic that your child needs a lot of. And I feel that we have the teaching skills that show anybody. So some of our classes are, you know, we have a medical doctor, we'll have a chiropractor, we'll have a massage therapist, and we'll have 2 parents, we'll have somebody just interested, and they all get something out of the education, and the mother can take it and go back. And if she can do 20% of that class that she understands, and I can guide her in that, that gives me 20% when they come back that I can do faster and better.
Yeah.
So we always recommend when a parent and a child, or even a caregiver and a person, or even the person themselves, I recommend, why don't you come to that class, because those 8 hours of lecture, when I say one word, you'll understand that whole 8-hour lecture instead of trying to explain it to you while you're getting really relaxed on the table, and that doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah, I remember when my first class was the men's and women's health issues, all the urogenital stuff. And it was a great class because it had all these different components of integrated manual therapy, blueprints. And I don't think we had templates back then, but all these different techniques, type 1s, type 2s, type 3s, frozen organ, DOM. You know, so it's like then any other class, you would see those words and you go, oh, I know how to do a blueprint. And so, yeah.
And you know that we over give information. So
oh my God. Yeah.
In science of integrated manual therapy is learning the 100 tools, the 100 different types of touch. And then you know that, okay, I know that that touch goes in this format, and I need to look at it for the knee, or I need to look at it for headaches, and then you can
Yeah.
apply it.
Yeah,
So
I took it was a Northeast seminar version of that class that I took, and I got the flyer, and I was already taken through the advanced levels of all this visceral manipulation and mechanical link and all these osteopathic things, and part of the flyer listed all the structures in the body that we would work on, and I thought, what? And in 3 days? Are you kidding me? so it's funny. We would go in and there'd be a whole section like there's 20 techniques here, from everything from this little part to this little part to this little part of the kidney and the ureter and the bladder. And then you guys would come around and go, okay, for you do number 5 and 7, and for your partner 8 and 13, and we would test range of motion, and then it was different, and we were just barely learning the technique. We're like, are we doing this right? So it's really quite amazing how there can be that many techniques, and any of them would help. But it's kind of cool to know, just do this one or that one.
and as you develop your becoming an integrated manual therapist, it's the art and science to say, okay, I have 100 tools, and now I have to figure out, we explain where to put your fingers for each one of those tools in every part of the body. So, you know, some people need, if they, let's say, got in a car accident and that tissue really got damaged, they may need all 20. And the art is maybe for somebody that just had a kidney infection, maybe you only need 2, and figure out which 2 you need out of that whole stack of 20 to get the biggest bang for the buck.
Yeah, that's when it's all fun. Any way you do it, it's so fun to have somebody get up off the treatment table and go, wow, that's different. So it gets kind of addictive. So that's
It
cool.
is, it's like being Sherlock Holmes and winning at the end of every game.
One of my clients, friend now, although I haven't seen her in a long, long time, lives in San Diego. She would come and sometimes we would have these intensives at our place when Kim was there, and people would come for hours in 1 week. They even did that for us when Kim wasn't there. But this person was getting treatment, and she loved Harry Potter. She goes, but you guys are in the real Harry Potter school.
Right.
So it's pretty
and I would love to do intensives as we get the education back up there. And and we used to do it regionally, like the San Francisco therapists would all come and say, okay, why don't you come? You're one of my heartache cases, so why don't you come visit? Well, we're gonna get Tom to be there for a little bit, and then I can work on you while Tom supervises me, and then we can. So everybody learns. And the beautiful thing about, we would have 5 or 10 tables in one room, right, Ralph?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we had 4 in our clinic in San Diego. That's how we worked.
Yeah. So the education of the practitioner is amazing, because you see the person in the beginning of the morning, and you see the list of things that we need to do for them, and maybe in 3 hours in, you haven't had to do the work, but you could see the list of things that were done in that, and so you get to learn in the secondary step. And now you see 4 people, and that's exponential compared to your one-on-one hours that you'd have to practice on yourself. So I love community therapists working together, because everybody has special skills and special eyes. So one person would say, well, maybe we should use some acupuncture, because it feels to me like an acupuncture. And we go, and then everybody learns a little bit more how that person picked that new sound up.
Yeah. And just so people know, it's all done with people's clothes on. So in these rooms with multiple people, everybody's got their clothes on.
Yeah. Yes. Clothing is always required.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I think I feel it building. It's going to be fun. If anybody's interested in exploring this, reach out to Tom, info@imtwellnesscenter.com, or me, Ralph at ralphhavens.com, and and we'll get a plan. We'll just keep on building the information about this and the morphic field of the whole thing, which is already built up, but getting kind of like the blueprint is getting done again. The IMT blueprint is being done to like.
It's ready to rebound back. So
yeah. Tom, always so good to see you, man. Like, just incredible. I'll check in with you about all the stuff we're working on, and of course,
awesome.
And I'll see you next week. Okay. All right. Good to see you.
Have a nice day.
Thanks, man.